Hey guys, it's Jason with HG Innovations. I'm going to go over some of our lineup for our our open water HD UMS, which is the universal mounting system. This system is based off of pretty widely used ball mounting systems. So it's a 1.5-inch ball, which would be a Type C, similar to like what RAM makes or some of the other companies. I've implemented some different design aspects to the system that I have that really makes it work well with forward-facing sonar. I'm not worried about mounting a million different products to the mounting system that I have. I'm focused on forward-facing sonar because that's what we do, right? That's the world we live in here at this company. Portability, sonar portability, that's what we're doing. So I'm going to kind of run over some of this stuff with you here. Right here is our UMS pole adapter. This is the pole adapter. This is a 6-inch arm. Here we have the pole adapter on a 9-inch arm. These are both onto our, I call our MUP, which is the multi-use plate. And the multi-use plate is a aluminum plate with a ball on it that slides right into a track adapter. This plate, full CNC'd one piece with the TPU overcoat on it, and it has a pin channel through it this direction, but that pin is not used for any purpose except for when you're stowing the pole inside the boat and you want to change the orientation and stow the pin into that. Otherwise, the only pin that's used is in the front of the arm where the pole adapter and the arm meet. You do not need any pins in the back. This is a specific design channel in this arm that locks onto the shank of the ball below. So once this is tightened up, you cannot rotate these independently. There's no more movement to be had. So that's those products there. And don't worry, I will go over how to install this here in a second. I just want to hit some of the bases on the actual products. So this is our claw type mount here, and it's a full aluminum pinching type clamp that can go onto like a 7/8 round rail. It could go onto a 1-inch. It could go on an 1.1/8. It could go onto like a square tube. Many different ways you can use this. Now this is more of a temporary solution. This isn't for it just if you have round rails, boy, that'll work perfect. I could just clamp that right onto there. It's more if, hey, I'm going on my buddy's boat and I'm going to clamp it onto, a cleat. I'm going to clamp it onto a round rail. I'm going to clamp it onto anything else, but more temporarily. If you're going to a fly-in and you want to use it on like a fly-in boat, a lodge boat or something like that, no problems at all. Crank it down right on the side of it and you're good to go for that. Definitely more of a temporary thing, not for on my own boat, I'm going to use it all the time type of solution. That would be more where you're looking at, like your ball with your round base. You can screw that down. Your multi-use plate, put that down on there. And then if you do have round rails, we do have coming this adapter here, which is a circular clamp with a rubber insert. And this will accept 7/8 size tube. And then we give rubber inserts for 1-inch tube and 1.1/8 size tube. So with the same clamp, you can modify, go to whichever size tube you really need to. If you're going to use one of these on like the side of a Ranger for trolling and you want it to really hold good, I would say where you're putting it onto that round rail, take electrical tape, do a few wraps of it, and then take that electrical tape and just roll it over and go again, and that'll put the sticky side out. Once you do that, you can clamp this on and it will really, really grab onto that tube really tight. So that's a couple of those products. We do have an electronics mount coming out also, which is very similar to a lot of them. It's a ball. It is an aluminum plate. It's got a whole bunch of mounting patterns in it. It's very affordable. So in addition to the multi-use plate sliding right into a 3-inch track adapter like you see here, the cool thing about it is that it also will bolt to any of the 4-bolt rod holder patterns, I call them. There's a million different products out there that will take and mount like your Scotty rod holder base or your Ram rod holder, the Bass Pro Cabela's rod holder bases that accept that kind of spud. So the one that goes down in and you can lift it up and turn it and clock it. Those use all a specific 4-bolt rectangular pattern to bolt down, and I had put that same pattern on my multi-use plate. So essentially, if you have a Lund, a Tracker, a Lumacraft, anything that has a track system built into it, then as long as you have an adapter plate that'll go from your track, come up and make a horizontal surface, a level surface that you can put a rod holder base on. Our multi-use plate will bolt right down to that. So we're not really in the game right now of just making a whole bunch of different aluminum adapters to mount to everyone's boat. I would much rather let those other companies make those, and in the interest of the customer, if you already have one, absolutely, I want to make products that work with what you have already, so you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of new stuff every time you change over to a different type of mounting system. I would rather just make good products that work with what you already have, or with what good products other companies make. Extreme Max, Cisco, Trax Tech, all these companies, they make good adapters, they make good plates, and a lot of you guys already own those. So for sure, I'd want to be able to integrate what I have with what you already have. So that's why we have made this part with the 4-bolt pattern that will go right onto all those different styles of adapters. And in the product description for the multi-use plate on our website, I give a couple of examples in there and some links of where you can buy them from. We just don't carry them on the website yet. We're still trying to get some of that stuff all situated. You just got off the ice. You just got done. Ice is finally leaving the lakes. We're going to get in the boat. We want to use all the same products. Yes, ice pole converts straight to open water pole. That's how it's all designed. So we're going to loosen up the handle, take the handle off. Here's your tripod. Now, when you take your plastic parts off, they might be tight on there. They might be real tight. They come off. The handle comes off. The tripod comes off. They've just been on there for a whole season. So what you do here is you open up your tripod. I like to put the top of the pole facing down. Put your hands right in the middle of the tripod, and you can just go ahead and just push that down, pull it right off. Take this and store it somewhere where you're going to remember where it is. You'd be surprised how many people lose those. Then your pole adapter here, I'm just going to slide right onto the pole. Super simple. And then again, we'll just tighten it back up with the Allen wrench or the hex wrench, whatever you want to call it. And what I like to do is I like to kind of move this a little bit on the pole, and that way I know when it's getting tight enough and I'm not just over tightening it onto the carbon. So now that's good and tight there. You can see I have this ball, and it's just going to rotate very nicely in the pole adapter. So if you go to put this pole adapter onto your current pole and you go to stick it on there and it just doesn't fit, right? Just you try to slide it on and the aluminum pole adapter just doesn't want to fit on there. We have located a very small amount of the carbon poles that we made, where the very top edge of this, for some reason, it just has a little flare to it. I'm not sure why it did it or where they even came from. There's a little bit of a widened flare there. If that happens to you, two things you can do. You could just message us right away. That's perfectly fine. The real fix for the whole solution of it is the top tube of your pole needs to be flipped. The side of the tube that's in the clamp right now will not have that flare, and then the top will have that small little flare. Now, this is a small amount of poles that are in circulation right now. Even so, it's very simple. I'll just kind of show you on this smaller tube here. You'll have a cap in there. You can remove this cap out of it by just taking the smallest tube and just giving it some taps like this while holding on to it, and then that will pop right out. Once that's out, you just close it down. And then the number 2 clamp, which is the bigger clamp, you can take your same hex wrench here, your 4mm, and you're just going to loosen up that clamp. Once you have the clamp loose, you'll be able to move it around, and then you can pull, basically, like I say, pull the guts out of this thing, and you take the inner tube, and this is the tube that was just the biggest one that the handle goes on. So we just pulled it right off. Now there will be a keyway on the big side of this, the inside of this pole, and there's a keyway on the outside of this one, and there's a male keyway on the inside of your other pole. Those slide together effortlessly. If you go to put this together and they don't slide together, you have to stop and look because they're not lined up, and they definitely need to be lined up. So all you'll be doing is just flipping this over this direction, lining those keyways back up, sliding it back together. Now I'm going to put mine together this way because this is the way it needs to be for this one. And so once that is back together like this, you can just push it up tight, take your hex wrench and just tighten this back up. It's very simple. Once you get that tightened up, you don't need to over tighten it too much. And then you can just go ahead and pop your cap back in. And that goes right in the top here and just right in. Now it's good to go. So now it'll slide right into your pull adapter, no problem. And you won't have any issues at all. Like I said, this is a very small amount of them, but I want to make sure that if anyone does have that issue, first of all, you feel free to reach right out to us. And it is a very simple solution of just this top biggest tube needs to be flipped over so that that other portion is down here. One other thing, when you get your pull adapters, you will have a lubrication in here. We apply it inside of all these pull adapters before they ship. And this is what I use. It's called Sil Glide. This is just a silicone lubricant is all it is. It's really good down to super cold temperatures where a lot of people will probably still be using these, and it holds its viscosity up to like 400 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get this at pretty much any hardware store, as well as obviously Amazon and those kind of things. We'll probably start carrying this in small containers on the website, but as of right now, we don't have anything like that in stock. So I hope that helped you guys out. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. I just ask before you message us directly that you jump on whatever you're looking for, jump in that product and just read through the description again. Then, check that through a couple times. I try to really put every bit of information that is possibly needed into those product descriptions or into these videos. So if you could just go ahead and check through those first, that would be absolutely wonderful. Secondly, obviously you can message us on the website or email us. And if you do need a one-on-one phone conversation, just shoot us a message and say, hey, it's something I really can't figure out. I looked through the products. I can't figure out the answer. Can someone give me a call? And I'll either myself or Aaron will give you a call back and we'll talk you through it. It's no big deal, but we're the same people that assemble it and we're the same people that design it and do sales and all that stuff. So every time we gotta, take away to answer a question that the information was right there, it's just time away from doing all the other stuff. So if you could do that, that would be a huge help. And like always, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys sticking with our brand and buying the products. And if you have any other questions, let me know.